Sahil Kapoor is national political reporter for NBC News, has been extensively covering these proceedings, and he joins me now. Sahil, you were there, I think, last night, or at least covering it closely. And can you just walk us through how this went down? Because when I took this anchor chair last night, it was maybe just a few hours away, maybe later in the night. And I woke up this morning to find that, they still haven't done it yet.
Quite a chaotic 24 hours, Chris. The Senate went late yesterday after attempting to pass a China competitiveness bill, and there was one wrench after another that was thrown into it, finally by Ron Johnson, one that was not avoidable. The Senate stayed in session and adjourned a few minutes before 3 a.m. It came back at around 9 a.m. They agreed to push the China bill back after the Memorial Day recess and vote on the January 6th bill. As you can imagine, many senators were absolutely exhausted. 11 of them ended up missing this vote, and in the end, as you pointed out, it got 54 votes. Short of the 60 needed to break a filibuster. I had never seen the kind of disillusionment that I'd seen from certain senators, most notably Joe Manchin, who is the most vocal proponent, as you know, of the filibuster, of bipartisanship. His theory all along has been that is a tool to promote cooperation. And it was put to a pretty significant test today, and it did not meet that test, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, what was your sense? McConnell obviously whipped against this, and it was pretty clear, I think, that they had, they were going to secure the votes going in, which I think was part of the frustration because Ron Johnson's, I'll editorialize for a second, tantrum about not getting his amendments on the border was a little moot and beside the point to what the actual outcome was going to be, hence people's frustration. But there wasn't that much suspense. But was there at any point a possible 10 votes?
I don't think so, Chris. I could never really count to 10 votes. I mean, it was surprising to me that 6 Republicans voted in favor of this. Just yesterday, I was asking some like Rob Portman. I was pressing him. I was pressing Pat Toomey as to whether they would vote yes, and neither of them said. I think there were a number of Republican senators who were genuinely on the fence, but not close to 10. McConnell had this in his hand the whole time. He had pressured his members to vote against this. He had made the case in private, to his members behind closed doors that this would be bad politics for the Republicans. And look, this is me talking, not him, but it's simply an uncomfortable political fact for the Republicans that it was supporters of Donald Trump who ransacked that Capitol and put their lives in danger. They don't want to be talking about that. This is, in many ways, to quote Lisa Murkowski, a short-term political calculation. If anyone has standing to talk about short-term political calculations, it's her. She's up for re-election next year. And in her mind, that is not worth putting ahead of the need for an independent commission so the country can have a common baseline of facts on what happened on that deadly day, Chris.
Yeah, to that point, Sahil, Minority Whip John Thune sort of gave up the game last week when he said that anything that gets us rehashing the 2020 election, I think, is a day lost on being able to draw a contrast between us and the Democrats' very radical left-wing agenda. What you said is that the objective facts of the matter are what they are, which is that the president lied about the election. He whipped up a mob, which he then invited to the Capitol, which then engaged in violence against police officers seeking to overturn the election. Those are the facts. So there's no universe in which learning more about that ends up being a political boon to the Republican Party, I think. And that's all it took.
And here's where it goes next, Chris. Democrats are going to investigate this one way or another.
That's right.
Speaker Pelosi in the House has always left open the possibility to do a select committee, sort of like Republicans created with the Benghazi attack years ago. And the big difference between that and this commission is that Republicans will be able to attack the select committee and call it partisan and try to undermine its legitimacy in the eyes of voters. The purpose of this commission was much like the 9/11 Commission, to come up with a version of events that was actually real and that both sides can point to and say that's what happened. Because look, Chris, there's some really crazy conspiracy theories out there. One Republican congressman compared that riot to a normal tourist visit, and there are photos of him barricading the door of the chamber of the House of Representatives while people were trying to storm that and put his and other people's lives in danger. That is how far the Overton window has shifted in terms of intra-party politics over this issue. So Republicans don't want to put their fingerprints on a commission that would uncover uncomfortable political facts for Donald Trump, who is still the de facto leader of the party, despite his defeat, or for his supporters, which might harm them in the 2022 election. This is all about the midterms at this point, when Republicans want to capture control of the House and the Senate, Chris.
Sahil Kapoor, as always, great reporting. Thank you.